A sword duel can end in kissing. A witch can gain her power by helping others find love, and an entire campaign can be built around vagabond matchmakers piloting their sentient gay spaceship from system to system. Created by April Kit Walsh and published by Evil Hat Productions, Thirsty Sword Lesbians is a tabletop role-playing game about queer people experiencing deep emotions whilst on their path to becoming heroes. In most popular tabletop role-playing games, the emotions of individual player characters and NPCs, non-player characters, are usually just noted offhand and used as flavor for the game being played. The game itself opting to focus the players on the worldly actions and happenings around the player characters. The players roleplay with character emotions, acting out sadness or grief, but said emotions are rarely ever directly focused on. This is something Thirsty Sword Lesbians works to directly address. In Thirsty Sword Lesbians, the gameplay is directly interwoven with the internal emotions of the characters, working to focus the story on the characters and their stories rather than the world around them. Thirsty Sword Lesbians creates character-driven, emotional stories by encouraging roleplay and addressing the emotional weight of being an imperfect character thrust into the position of hero. Of course, the term hero in this context isn't meant to serve as someone perfect and just, but as someone who stands for admirable principles. The term gay disaster is aptly brought up within the text of Thirsty Sword Lesbians. Along with directly requesting players to invest themselves in roleplay, the rules for Thirsty Sword Lesbians are built to encourage and focus on emotion-based gameplay. Beyond traditional modifier-based rolling, Thirsty Sword Lesbians uses a 5-condition-based damage system. Each condition is based on a specific emotional state and has roleplay and mechanical effects tied to them. If a character is under the effect of all 5 emotional states, they are taken out of the action for the rest of the scene alongside keeping the implications of each individual condition. Clearing condition is also tied into roleplay, with destructive actions and emotional support creating a basis for how to roleplay clearing any particular condition. Alongside the conditions, there also exist strings, which represent emotional connections that players or the GM can use to influence those the string is connected to mechanically. Lastly, each character archetype, called playbooks, comes with its own set of ideals and central personal conflicts for you to roleplay. This amount of roleplay mixed into the mechanics of the game works well to emphasize personal focus and helps the game become an emotional investment for everyone at the table. The rulebook contains detailed information on creating a safe environment for the players to roleplay deeply emotional scenes, something which is most certainly needed for something like this. Along with safety tools, the rulebook also contains sample settings for the game to take place in, alongside sample quests and ideas for said world. Such sample worlds include the Lesbians Coffee House and Gal Paladins, both exceptionally great and interesting narrative bases. Lastly, the rulebook also presents applicable material for modifying the game and its gameplay for any particular group of people alongside explanations of the game's core mechanics and why they work the way they do. Thirsty Sword Lesbians is an exceptionally interesting tabletop role-playing game, with unique fixations compared to more traditional games alongside the direct and explicit inclusion of minority groups. Thirsty Sword Lesbians should provide any group a lovely experience. You can purchase Thirsty Sword Lesbians and various supplementary materials from the publisher's website, evilhat.com.